right. Hey everyone, my name is Marcus, and this is my Duoethnography presentation for EDLEA 838. I'm taking it this fall with Dr. Liang. So I'm going to do my presentation using a whiteboard. So I'm just going to draw things out and just show it to you all and go from there. So let's get started. So for my project, I had the pleasure of being partnered up with Tana Arnold, and this is Tana. Okay, so this is Tana, and so when I learned about Tana doing this project, I learned a lot of different things about her. So first and foremost, I think the best way to start is just starting with what she was like when she was younger and kind of just progressing as that goes on. So when Tana was growing up, something that I learned during our duoethnography interviews that we did with each other was that she had a lot of responsibility. And so she kind of was like the mini parent of her siblings and like cousins, the people that she grew up with. And so best way I can describe that is just by drawing some people that represent her family. And so she had that responsibility at a very early age. And I think just from observing Tana as a person, and we've had a couple classes together, that really kind of just shows a lot about who she is as a person and how she's kind of developed into being that responsible figure. Okay, so now going into some more things about Tana as she was growing up. So what she shared was that she was born and raised in the western part of Kansas. In this western part of Kansas. So this may be reversed as well, but I can see if I can try and flip that later. But yeah, she was born in the western part of Kansas. And what she told me was that where she lived and how she kind of grew up, it was a very conservative place, the people that lived there, etc. So with her growing up some more, she did sports. I'm trying to remember how to draw basketball. So she did basketball, like so. And I'm trying to think what else she did. Alicia said she did cheerleading at some point. Okay, and the things on the end are supposed to be pom-poms. And she also recall her saying that she did track as well. So let me see if I can draw that. Okay, there's supposed to be someone running, so there's that. So she did all those different things, and so forth. While she was growing up, and she's told me that when she was in, grade school, that's when she met her what is now husband. So that is, I'm in grade school, 4th grade. That is where she met her, what is now husband. And what was really interesting was that they started dating when she was only 14. And so I just think that's awesome. Just having those connections at such an early age. It's definitely could be impactful for one's future, just to already have established that deep of a connection with someone else. So now kind of flash forward from when she was younger to kind of where she is now. So her husband joined the military. which is what brought them here to Manhattan. And before they came here, they lived in a ton of other places. Well, not a ton. They lived in some other places. And so they lived in Colorado. They also lived in Tennessee. And so I think it's awesome just them being able to like move around to a couple of different places just to experience what different cultures are like. And of course, with wherever you live, the people that you're around while you're in those locations too really can help shape your overall character development, well-being, etc. So now with taking the time to learn, now with like learning more about Tana as a person, kind of got to understand more about what she wants to do long-term career-wise. So she was involved with school counseling, and so she did that for a time, and she realized that she liked it. She liked it a lot. She loved it. And so with that, what she now wants to do is go into higher ed, like academia, and she wants to examine school counseling, but she wants to kind of do it from a faculty level, from a faculty point of view. So where she's able to do research and hopefully be published, hopefully make really cool like presentations over her research over why things are the way they are, how we as a school system, how the school systems can fix it, things like that. And so, which I think is awesome, which I think is so awesome. So something that came up during our interviews that I thought was really interesting in relation to Tana's character development, if you will, has just been that of a little bit of shaping her personality, just what more that was like. And so something that I asked her about was how she really transformed who she was, just in regards to like attitude, carrying herself in a certain way. And so upon asking her that, she told me that it had a lot to do with confidence. And so she said that she's kind of developed that at an early age, just all that she did with like sports, so working with other people, just being in the classroom. She said that she was always one that just spoke up more, and was just one that was not hesitant to say what was on her mind and to ask questions and whatnot. And so it was really interesting. We talked more about that, and we talked more just about how people can perceive that, whether if it can make people think that someone's standoffish, or if they think, oh, well, maybe I can't say anything because maybe Tana will judge me or something. So she did comment on just things that people would say, or how people would act around her when she could kind of tell that people were responding to how she was performing in class and like workspaces and things like that. So I thought that was really interesting. And we actually took a little bit of time to kind of dive deeper into that in one of our other sessions of interviews, in which she reflected on that and kind of asked me what my thoughts were. And I thought, I just responded and told her that I thought it was very encouraging. And if anything, I thought that she was a lot like an inspiration for being in class with, since, like I said, we've had a couple of classes together. And so I think it's just been great, just being able to see all the great things that she can do in the classroom. And like I said, it's been a lot of an inspiration for helping me out as a student, and just helping me just grasp more of the content. Because admittedly, there are times where I haven't understood some things, and until I kind of ask her more about it, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I went to the professor's office hours, and they told me all of this stuff." And I'm like, oh, great, great. So I was able to learn a little bit more about myself too, and trying to learn more about Tana, which is awesome. So I've already kind of taken some time to mention what I think stood out for me when interviewing Tana. And so with that, I can definitely say that I would like to say when going back through the interviews, I use that coding technique, just kind of look for and extract some things that I saw repetitively and looking at the transcribed data. And so family definitely stuck out, as I shared before, about how she kind of was given a lot of that responsibility growing up. And with that too, confidence was another one that I kind of shared with you all, of just as she was growing up, just exuding that in the classroom and workspaces and everything. And I would just honestly say overall, just education was another big focal point that I kind of extracted from all these interviews. And that's something that she's really passionate about and wanting to positively impact our school system in relation to working with students just to help make them better, which is awesome. So what went well for me for this project? I thought it all went pretty well. It was really great just being able to take the time to learn more about an individual, learn more about their background, and just all of the major events that have occurred that have helped shape them to the person that they are today. I think it was all great. Scheduling was fun and easy, and we were able to learn a lot more about each other. And then from a reflective point of view, I think it definitely was great just to be able to have this experience. It helped me learn a little bit more about myself and trying to learn more about someone else. But with that too, what Tana shared with me about the whole exuding confidence part was that she was able to reflect on that a little bit too. So I think that reflection part really did go full circle both ways for both of us. So I think that there are a lot of ways that this Duoethnography project that it played, there are a lot of ways that this project played into helping us learn more about qualitative inquiry. For me, I truly value the narrative perspective, and using that strategy for learning more about an individual kind of brings me back to the beginning of the semester where we watched a video and the speakers were talking about how you can kind of get lost in this forest of qualitative inquiry. And so with that narrative aspect, same thing, how you're asking questions and how you can be kind of led on these rabbit trails, but it's important for you to stay pertinent to what you're trying to find data-wise for you to be able to further examine your subject or etc. for your project. And so I definitely found that same thing here too. It was a lot of data to take in, but just looking through, filtering, coding that, using in vivo techniques, etc. to find out what really sticks out and what are things that can be used for the project. And so with that too, I would definitely say that there are some major building blocks that have come from this project itself that can inform us of our life histories, that can inform us of where we're going for the future. And with that too, what I've learned from this reflective process of this project is that no two things are the same at all. And being that, an easy example, Tana and I were both here in grad school at K-State to hopefully get our doctoral degrees. And so where I want to go with that is completely different where she wants to go. And our experiences that have brought us to this place, they were both different. And so mine was more or less from the involvement side, outwardly perspective, and hers were as well, but just, of course, taking that different pathway to kind of get where we both are now. If I were to do this project all over again, something that I would maybe want to think about doing is thinking about. I would say I was really good about just asking open-ended questions, to let them kind of expand off of that, and just asking, okay, tell me more, let's go deeper into that. But with that too, I don't exactly want to say that I wish I would have had more background data to be able to ask more questions, but there's an interesting point during our interviews where it kind of seemed like we kind of reached a dry spell, at least with me asking my partner questions. And so with that, I think there's definitely more to share, but again, what do they feel comfortable sharing? And so I guess being able to pick up on that a lot too. Having done this project all the way through now, if I were to do it all over again, I probably would be better about picking up on those cues of, okay, maybe I'm being a dead horse. Maybe I should just move on to another question versus wanting to try and find out more and more and more about a person. And an example of this, of maybe asking a little bit too much about one particular thing, I was really wanting to learn more about her childhood growing up, and so that was something that I wouldn't say was lacking, but just what she shared, I just thought that there could be more I could uncover, and so just asking more and more and more about it, but still not getting much back from her about that. Then I think that looking back now, that was probably a clear indication of there's not really much more to tell you. And so it's just I took no offense to that or anything. It was just again, a unique example of if I were to do this over again, what would I do differently to try and uncover more information or different information outside of my purview of thinking.